Welcome to Epic Recovery, where we embark on the transformative journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Join us as we unlock the secrets to genuine recovery, embracing our infinite possibilities, and forging an extraordinary life filled with purpose and profound meaning. Epic Recovery starts now.
Hello, Epic people. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. I am really humbled by you being here. This just fills my heart with joy to be able to be here doing this. I woke up today with such a dose of gratitude. It was pretty awesome because I knew that I was going to be doing this recording today, and I always look forward to it. And this is the one, it's funny, I do another show also on how to raise self-esteem, but this one, Epic Recovery, I love doing this one. I spend a lot of time thinking about what I want to talk about this week. The other one is just kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and whatever I am going to talk about, I think about it a few minutes before and boom. But this one, I think it out, because those of us who are in recovery, we have shown that life can throw some pretty dark things in front of us, and we find a way to get over them. And what this whole show is about, and my whole philosophy, and when I work with people in coaching and all of that, my whole purpose is to help you build a more solid foundation. Let those roots of recovery go deep into the ground so that no matter what life throws at you, you got this. And, we used to use alcohol and drugs as a crutch, or whatever you're in recovery from. We use those self-destructive behaviors, whatever they were, as a crutch to not have to deal with what was going on. And it becomes this vicious cycle, right? When we first started using or drinking or doing whatever, it was fun. It was great. I tell the story all the time when I speak at colleges and to high school groups. I talk about when I started drinking, it was awesome. I loved it. It was so much fun. When I started smoking weed, it was phenomenal. And when I found cocaine, I became Superman. And it started that way, and it was wonderful. And I'm getting better grades, and I'm doing better in sports. And all of a sudden, these girls are looking at me like, wow, I didn't even think you knew I existed. And everything was just wow. And then you know how it is. It started to turn, and then there were hangovers, and then there were blackouts, and then there were fights with friends, and then there was stealing, and then there were getting F's on tests, and the problems started to accumulate, and those became more and more, but I just used more to get that good feeling back, but it didn't happen, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, to the point, you know how it is when you're about to hit bottom. My life was miserable. And, that day that I hit bottom, I was looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, let's just start here with the knife and go here and sit in the bathtubs, because you don't want to make a huge mess for anyone to have to clean up. Of course, have to people please and take care of others while I'm contemplating my own suicide. And then, that little voice was like, what are you doing? You need help. And I got the help, and I started going to 12-step meetings, and I found a therapist, and I started journaling and reading books on spirituality, and I found my way back. And during those tough times in early sobriety, when things would happen in a negative way, my mind went to, get high, that'll fix it. Get high, that'll be better. Just have a couple drinks and you're going to that'll take the edge off. My addictive mind kept going to that as a solution. But I knew there was something in me that knew that the alcohol and drugs were no longer a solution. And I've come to realize, and I share this a lot, there is nothing that could happen in my life that drinking and using wouldn't make worse. It's not a solution. It's the way that I perpetuated the problem. And what started to happen, I would use, it would cause problems in my life. I would feel guilty about the problems that were going on in my life. So I wanted to escape, so I used. And as a result of using, it caused problems in my life. And those problems, I felt guilty and shameful about those. So how do I deal with that? I get high. I was caught in that vicious cycle. Why would I want to get back on that wheel? It's like a hamster, right? running and running and running. I mean, they crack me up. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're running and running and running, but you're not getting anywhere. And alcohol and other drugs, it's the same thing. And it was killing me. And thank God I reached out for help, which again, reaching out for help is a strength. It is not a weakness. I don't know where it came up in this society that when you have a problem, you suck it up, you deal with it, and you get over it. No, that does not work, especially us. We know there's no way to recover successfully on your own. There's no way to be in recovery. Sure, you can be sober. There are so many people out there who are white knuckling it and just they're not drinking one day at a time. But there are a lot of people who just white knuckle it. Can't imagine that they're truly happy. And recovery is a process. And you know what? Maybe they are. I don't want to judge that. But what I know is that by asking for help and reaching out for help, that's where the solutions are. We didn't learn how to read on our own. We had teachers and parents and other people who were teaching us how to read. We didn't learn math by ourselves. We had teachers who taught us how to do that. And as a result, we're able to do more things. But it starts with the fundamentals. It starts with the basics. So asking for help is a vital part of recovery. I still ask for help. I don't have this life thing down. I still make mistakes on a regular basis. There are times like right now, I feel whelmed with everything going on in my life. I'm about to move across country again. And there are so many moving pieces and so many parts of this that I'm asking for help from my friends in order to help me get through this. Most of the help that I ask for is to help keep me sane and to, get my mind off of things, make me laugh, just make me laugh. Tell me what's going on in your day, get me out of my own self. I just had some friends come and visit and I took them to Disney and we had such an amazing time and it got my mind off of all this stuff. And I came back feeling more refreshed. So ask for help. Get out of yourself, get out of your own way. And this recovery thing will happen over time. And are there setbacks? Sure. Just don't drink or use over the setbacks. Don't engage in that addictive behavior when you're in those rough patches. But you know what? I know a lot of people who relapsed not when things were going horrible. They relapsed when things were going well. And I'll tell you what that's about. It's a self-esteem issue. Because things start to get better in our lives. And there are people who have such low self-esteem that they feel, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve with all the things that I've done, I don't deserve for my life to be this good. And they drink or they use or they engage in their addictive behavior. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do that. You do not have to do that. You do deserve for good things to happen in your life. You do deserve for the gifts of recovery to come into your life. Yes, you did some things that were pretty shitty. I did too, but I forgave myself. I worked the 12 steps. And when I got to step 8, I remember I made that list of people that I've harmed and I took it to my sponsor and he said, there's someone really important missing on this list. I'm like, who? I put everybody down. I really thought about this. He said, no, you forgot the most important person. I was like, who? Oh, me. He said, yeah, you. And you know what? Throw God in there too. Ask for forgiveness. Watch what happens. So I did. And I wrote God a letter and I wrote me a letter. And I took a look at all of those things that I had done to myself and to other people. And I put it on paper and I said, I'm sorry. And I hope to never do this again. And I forgave myself. And man, talk about you were going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. It's kind of like I was walking around with a backpack with 50 pounds of rocks in it. I didn't even know it was there. And I just let that backpack go. And I was like, wow, do I feel lighter? So it's taking care of yourself and forgiving yourself for who you were so that you can truly become who you want to be. I came up with a saying a couple months ago. When I first started doing this, all of a sudden this saying just popped in my head. I am not responsible for my addiction. I am responsible for the quality of my recovery. You are in charge of the quality of your recovery. Your addiction, it happened. It's over. Were there things you could have done back then to prevent it? Probably, but you didn't. And then it took over, and you don't know when that happened. I couldn't say, the day that I lost control was July 17th, 1979. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what that date is, but at some point it took control. Am I responsible for that? No, that's just the disease taking over. But I am responsible for what I do with this information and what I do about this disease. And it's totally up to me. Do I want to be in recovery today? Do I want to be just sober today? Or do I want to just say, fuck it and go back to my old life? There's no way I'm going back to that old life. When I think about all the gifts that I have in my life today, I'm living in a house. I have a car that's paid off. I'm about to move back to San Diego because the way that I have done my career and lived my life, and with the gifts that have come into my life, I get to move to San Diego and have a really nice apartment and have some great furniture and have a place where I can even set up my drum set. Oh, I'm so excited I get to play my drums, because that's one of the best outlets for me. When things are stressful, I play my drums. And the cool part is I have an electric set. So even though I'm going to be in an apartment, I can put on my headphones and I can jam to Led Zeppelin, and I love doing Megadeth. Dream Theater. I can play one song by Dream Theater, As I Am, because Mike Portnoy is friggin' amazing. But I love playing AC/DC, and I'm a metalhead, so I love that hard rock, and it's fun for me, and it's a great outlet. Find those outlets for you. So I found an apartment and found a drum set where I'm going to be able to play even though I'm in an apartment. So find ways to fit the joys of life into your life, because yes, you deserve it. You have overcome so much, and you're here today because you've worked hard to get where you are. And now it's time to dig a little deeper. You can do this. It's kind of like the person who, hey, I crossed the finish line of the 5K. I think I want to do a 10K. Go for it. Absolutely. And an analogy, actually, I wasn't planning to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about this because it just popped into my head. Another analogy that I came up with is, a lot of us were in the valley, and we looked up at the mountain and said, wow, that is a really beautiful mountain. I love the way that the light hits it. It is so beautiful. And some of us get this feeling, I think I want to climb that mountain. Yeah, I think I want to do that. And the first level, it's kind of a nice hike getting up there. And we hike up a little bit and we get to a plateau and we look out at the valley, and the view is spectacular. And there are all these people around that are also enjoying the view, and we seem to resonate at the same frequency, and we're talking to each other, and it's really awesome. And a lot of people just hang out at that plateau for a long time. But some of us say, you know what? I wonder what it would look like from up there. And we start climbing to that next plateau. And the climb is a little bit more difficult, and it's more steep, and it's more treacherous, and we have to really be careful along the way. And there are people up there that's like, hey, the best place, go over this way a little bit more. And then we listen to others and we go over there, and it's a little bit easier. We make it to that next plateau and we look out, and wow, the view from there is amazing. And the people that we're meeting there aren't as many of them, but they just really fill us up. Wow, they're talking philosophy and how to live life, and we learn from them. And it's awesome because they've been on that plateau for a while. And some of us say, you know what, this is really great, but I think I'm going to go up there. I'm going to go to the next one. And we keep climbing. And the more we climb to those next plateaus, the more treacherous and the more dangerous the climb is, and the more difficult the climb is. And some people get a few and they're like, you know what, I think I'm just going to go back down there and I'll be all right. And they hang out there. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're making progress and doing things in your life to feel better about who you are and where you fit in the world, there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's no good or bad. It's all what works for you. And as long as you're not pushing your way on other people, awesome. But some of us need to climb. And when we climb to that next plateau, there aren't many people there, but man, that view is spectacular. And the people that we do meet, it's pretty awesome. So it's up to you. But if you're still in the valley, climb to that first plateau. See what you think. And if you don't like it, go back down to the valley. You can do that. Don't jump, climb. A lot of people think they can jump down, they'll be all right. Yeah, no jumping. Yeah, just walk on down. And no matter where you are, you can always go back to the one right below you. But it's really tough. Once you get up to the second, third, or fifth plateau, you don't want to be in the valley anymore. The joys, the serenity, the peace that comes with that climb. And when you get to that plateau and you've worked hard to get there, you're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. And what I have found that, each one of the promises keeps happening to me at a deeper level. And it's profound. And it brings so much gratitude into my life. And that's what I want for you. And that's why I do this. That's why I take time out of my day to do these, is because I've seen the joy and the freedom that comes from that. And I want to give you the tools that you need in order to make that happen. And yes, you can do it. And the tools are to raise your self-esteem and to do the work necessary, whether it's through journaling, whether it's through therapy, whether it's through finding friends that you really resonate with at a deep level. But be on that journey and be on that path of self-discovery and personal growth. And you're going to be amazed at what's going to happen in your life. How do you raise self-esteem? The way to do it, I believe, is to exercise and nourish the 4 parts of self: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. To get in touch with the 4 parts, journal about those. My book, Becoming Your Own BFF, is all about the tools you need to raise your self-esteem and feel better about who you are, who that person is that looks at you in the mirror, and where you fit in the world. And it's so cool to be on this path and this journey. And there are obstacles. There are different things that are going to happen along the way. Oh, check this out. Okay. Back when I first got sober, I probably had, 5 to 7 using dreams a week. I would wake up freaked out. Oh my God. Oh, thank God it was just a dream. Oh my God, I did so much blow. Oh my God, I smoked a joint. Oh, wow. And I would freak out and I'd call my sponsor and I'm like, oh my God, I just had a using dream. He said, wow, that's awesome. I'm like, how is that awesome? He said, because your recovery is becoming so strong that the only time your disease can get to you is when you're sleeping. I thought, wow, never thought about it that way before. Yeah. Okay, cool. And as time went on, I had less and less using dreams. Now I might have one, every 10 years or so. But the funny part is I just had one a couple days ago. It was funny. I was having a dream, sitting in a room, and these Rastafarian guys came in. Hey man, how you doing? I'm like, hey, what's going on? How's it? And we're talking, and they said, hey, and they lit up a joint. And it was like this little pinner joint, like if you roll up a straw paper into a little thing. And I was like, oh my God, what? Really? You're smoking that? I didn't say that. I was thinking it. And they go, here, you want some? And I was like, yeah, I don't think I can get high off of that little thing. And I took a hit off of it. And I thought, holy shit, I just relapsed. No matter how small the joint is, if I smoke a joint, I just relapsed. And then I thought, am I even going to get high from this? And here's the funny thing about being 40 years in recovery and having a using dream. It's been so long since I've been high that I don't remember what it's like anymore. So when I do have those using dreams every 10 years, every 5, whatever it is, I don't keep track. I don't get high because I don't remember what it feels like. The closest that it comes is to having like a head rush. So that's what I tell myself it is. So after I smoked that joint, oh my God, am I even high? And I felt like I had a head rush. And I kind of laughed at it. And then I woke up and I was like, oh my God, what a funky dream. And now I laugh at him. I don't get freaked out by him anymore. I laugh at them because it's like, okay, my disease is still alive and well. People ask me sometimes, I think I've said this before, but if you're tuning in for the first time, one of the things that people say, wow, you've been sober 40 years. Do you think maybe you could go and have a glass of wine every now and then, or just smoke a joint or a bong hit every now and then? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm still addicted or not. The dragon has been over there in the corner for 40 years. Why would I want to go over and poke him to see if he's dead or just sleeping? Because if he's just sleeping and I just woke him up, my life is going to change very drastically, very quickly. And I'm not willing to do that. Number one reason, I really like the way my life is going, and I don't want to mess that up. Number two reason, my daughter's 19. She goes to college. She has a lot of people in her life that she looks up to. I hope I'm one of them. But if I were to relapse, I don't want to see the look in her eyes as she looks at me. No way. And to tell my parents and the rest of my family, my niece and my nephew, no, there's no way. There is nothing that could happen in my life today that would make me go back to that. And I love my life today, even with all the multitude of things that I have going on right now with this impending move. I'm happy. Right now, I'm really happy and grateful. Now, an hour from now, I might feel fearful and anxious. But that's part of being emotionally aware, is that every feeling that comes up, it doesn't overwhelm me. It just is. And I allow myself to be anxious, and I allow my fear to poke its head up and say, I'm really scared right now. It's like, hey, I get you. I understand why you're scared. But you know what? Here are 3 solutions that we're going to do right now. Thank you for being there. I appreciate you, but I'm going to move on and get some stuff done. So I honor my feelings. I have a huge respect for my feelings, but I don't let them overtake me. Any of them, even my happiness. I don't get too happy that all of a sudden I lose touch with reality. So when you exercise and nourish your emotional self and you get to know each one of your feelings, they're not overwhelming anymore. And too many people try to hide and stuff their feelings. If you want to be in recovery, it's really important to get to know your emotional self. And it's hard at the beginning. It's painful at the beginning, but the rewards as you keep doing this are endless. Every time I think, I don't know how my life can get better, it gets better. I found this amazing apartment and I'm moving in and I was going to live on the 5th floor. And one night I have a tough time staying asleep these days. Gee, I wonder why, because I'm stressed. And I just went on the website for the apartment complex and I noticed the exact same apartment that I'm in on the 5th floor is available on the 11th floor, which has a much better view. And they were giving 2 months free rent in the unit on the 11th floor. And when I did the math, it came out cheaper than being in the apartment on the 5th floor. Really? Yeah, really. When I stay out of my own way and I feel the gratitude and I'm of service to others and I live this way, the universe just provides all these amazing gifts, little gifts like going from the 5th floor to the 11th floor and saving money in the process. So I wish these things for you too. I wish for you a life of joy beyond your wildest dreams. It's all possible for you. Keep working at it. Keep tuning in. And if there's anything I can do to support you and help you, get my book, see if that resonates with you. It's a nice short read. I didn't believe in doing like a 300-page book. I think it's like 130 pages, something like that. And then I'm also doing coaching with people. But to be honest, you can get on the list right now for clients. I'm taking a limited amount, but I'm not going to start doing my coaching until I get to San Diego in a couple of weeks. So I'm waiting until I get there because I don't want to overwhelm myself, because I wouldn't be doing you a service by being in a stress state and starting doing coaching with new clients. So I'm waiting until I get settled there. So if I can help support in any way, please let me know. I love doing this and I love working with people one-on-one. So I wish you all the best. Have an awesome week. Fill your life with things to be grateful for and find ways to be of service to others. And you got this. I wish you all the best. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Epic Recovery. Remember, every obstacle you overcome is a testament to your heroic spirit. Conquer your fears, unlock your potential, and write the epic tale of your life's journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep striving for the extraordinary.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the station, its management, or advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.